All right, it seems like recording is working, so we could go on with the material. First of all, this is the webinar belongs to the Learning Practice Lab, and today's topic is metastructure of beliefs, practical applications in coaching. Well, that's an essential and important thing for us to point out, that we are not just chewing on theory, but we are getting that theory in a way that we could easily and methodologically, I would say, apply that theory into the coaching, real coaching situations. So that's the ultimate goal. So we are going to go through practical application. My idea was actually make a real demonstration, and we'll see how many people will join us, because we need to have at least several people. But at least what I'm thinking is to invite someone who would like to be in a role of coachee and work demonstrating how the metastructure of belief can be used in a real coaching situation. And then after demonstration, we will make a clear step-by-step research, what has been done and why I've done in a certain way. I think it's almost like a case study situation. I think that's the best way we could approach this particular topic in order to move from theory to practicalities. And that topic belongs to the bigger direction, conversational reframing in coaching. So where we are using reframing techniques, and we already touched several techniques. If probably you remember some, we touched already in certain particular patterns. We discussed what positive intention reframing pattern is, what redefine reframing pattern, and maybe today, if we are going to have time, we will talk also about consequence pattern. So at least 3 patterns I think I will mention today. And the material based and mainly kind of founded on a Robert Dilt's book, Sleight of Mouse. All right, so as usual, guys, please eliminate all the obstacles or all disturbances potentially you could have in order to have productive hour. And very quick announcement about Headway Learning Practice Lab. As you know, we officially started already working officially from September 1st. So every week you have a webinar related to coaching growth. Those webinars are free. As you can see here on the left below, there is a coaching growth direction. But now I'm adding second direction, business direction. And that direction is going to be free, just one webinar or one session per month. And if people would like really to go into the business development things and be on a weekly basis and working with me in a very small groups and towards the business setup, so that's going to be a paid option on a monthly basis. And I will show you briefly the whole. I'm going to send you several links right now just for you to have a clear understanding. Let me stop sharing. Yeah, I think stop sharing and share some other. Yeah, I think this one. Yeah. So I think you're supposed to see right now. Yeah, guys, can you see? Because somehow I'm not sure if you can see. Let me just make it like this. I think right now probably you can see. Let me make it a little bit smaller. Okay. Yeah, certification program. Yeah. So first of all, just please not to miss. I know that maybe it's not relevant for some of you, but I would like you not to miss certain particular announcement which I made recently about upcoming programs, and one of the program is the strategic social media. So right now we have option of 30% discount, and I think it's quite nice and reasonable offer. And we'll be working with the people for 2 months, teaching practically everything from the beginning to the end, how to market your businesses using social media, how to do it in a very strategic way. And as a result, as you can see, that the target is eventually you'll be spending not more than 20 minutes per day doing all the social media. And right now, maybe some of you don't have business, or some of different people have in different stages of business development, and some maybe not even started business. But believe me, learning what social media is, learning how to promote your brand, learning how to set up your LinkedIn profiles, how to make it. Learning actually in the first part of the program is going to be about tweaking your business model in such a way that you could really base your social media on a good foundation, because usually people are jumping into the marketing without having any proper business model. So social media program is quite comprehensive, and in one day, like tomorrow evening, we are gonna end already 30% discount kind of offer. And I'm gonna send you links in the end of the. I'm just gonna copy that link and send it in our chat window, so later you could see. But I think probably if you follow more or less our announcement and emails, you're supposed to get that. Another event is very important, is that Learn and Practice Lab business direction. So we are adding one more webinar, not Thursday as we have it now, but Monday, 7 p.m. And you see the first webinar, the first one, which is free. I mean, once per month, it's going to be free anyway. So there is no need to pay for it now, but actually the full business direction coaching lab is going to be on a subscription basis. Yeah, 20 something, 20, I think 8 pounds per month. I mean, it's not dramatically expensive, but still some subscription. And as you can see, the topic is quite coinciding with our social media program. So 7 steps how to design and implement your social media strategy. That's going to be a topic for Monday, 7 p.m. UK time, Headway Lab Business Direction webinar. So just keep it in mind, okay? So that's it in terms of announcement. Let me stop sharing again and get to our presentation. Okay, I think it's important for you not to, because some people do not, they don't pay attention really to all those emails which I sent. I understand everybody is busy. So where is my, okay, so let's move on with our topic. All right. Okay, so for today, somehow I lost manage. Okay, now I see. Guys, now I see that Jen, Svetlana also joined us. Perfect. So now we have more people. And today, practical applications of using belief metastructure in coaching, and we will be going through that. And then 3 methods of internal states inventory. All right, experiences and values is also we are going to be covering, but it's going to be definitely part of our discussion, especially the first part. So let me just jump and skip that particular part because I see the familiar faces, so you don't need to go through all the. Let me just jump straight to. Yeah, okay, I think we are gonna get in closer. Yes, closer and closer. Okay, so Right now, please, could you please take a look at your screen? So that's where last time we stopped our previous webinar. So please spend 1 minute of your time again to observe this particular image. Yeah? As you can see, in the middle, we have beliefs. In the middle of that structure, and we have on the top, we have values. At the bottom, like foundation of everything is experience. And then from left to right, we have states and expectations. So please memorize that particular picture, and I'll give you a little bit of kind of commentaries around each particular part of that image. So first of all, our sensory experience. Yeah, that's what you have. Let me just use our drawings, annotate. Okay, I see. Yeah, guys, my drawings are appearing every time appearing in some unexpected part of my of my display, so I don't really see them immediately. Okay, so if we have this particular, yeah, so let's talk about this particular part in the foundation. Yeah, we are talking about experiences. So sensory experience is what provides the raw material from which we construct our maps of the world. Yeah? Beliefs, guys, do you remember what beliefs are? In other words, if you would use one word, what beliefs are, what kind of word would you choose? Could you please type if you remember? What beliefs are from NLP perspective, at least? Yeah? Convictions, okay. Yes, all right. Any other, guys, any other words? Generalizations or labels. Perfect. Erika, Svetlana, Alexander, perfect. So we use specific term, generalizations. Guys, what generalization really mean? It's kind of map. It's kind of simplification. So in order to generalize something, we need to delete and distort information. So if you could, if we would say like this, here is some kind of reality, yeah, sensory experience. So you go out of your apartment and you sense certain things, fresh air. You touch your eyes can see the light and they see images. So this is the sensory input. That's how a real world really touch us. I'm not saying that real world exactly as we see it or sense it. It's totally different story, because in order to sense, we also filtering, we also using certain particular processes. Right now, we are not going as deep, but at least it's like input, yeah, from external something, external world. So that's how experiences comes, into through our senses. What happens next? After repetition, after certain time, when we have certain particular experiences, we made first level of conclusions. Yeah. So that works this way. I mean, this is that way. So that's how we start to form beliefs. Beliefs, in other words, are generalizations. It's the first level of abstract. It's already like a number of thoughts. It's not reality. But yeah, as soon as we use those thoughts over and over again, we believe, and that's how beliefs become so powerful, because they can limit us, and at the same time they can empower us. So they are the first abstract level, first level of generalizations. Yeah? And as a result, those beliefs are usually updated and corrected by experience. So new experience comes, okay, maybe belief will gonna change. Yeah? And then belief is gonna influence what we experience. So as a result, that kind of loop going on here again and again and again. So we update our beliefs over the time, and beliefs has a power shaping what we experience. Yeah? They work also as a filter. So it's a self-enriching kind of process. Yeah? So what happens next? What values are here? We are going for that particular level. Yeah? Values. Values are what give our beliefs and experience meaning. So values, in a way, belongs to the deep structure. Yeah, in NLP we call it deep structure elements, and values are something which is enriching and bringing the meaning into our beliefs and experience. So it's kind of we are making sense. Yeah, and this is much higher level of abstract. That's where you could find labels like freedom or independence or love, or I mean that when you try to define well what it is, I mean when you can try to bring it into the sensory experiences, it's really tricky what freedom is. I mean it's a very high level of abstract, but we create that particular elements. We are carrying those elements deep in our structure. I mean, in this particular picture, you see it on the top because now the picture is built like according to the logical levels, and as a result, values are kind of values and beliefs are on the top, above experience. But that's what values are, yeah. So they are bring meaning. They are the highest level, some kind of positive intentions, which belief has been established to support or reflect. Beliefs, as a result, as you can see, beliefs are connecting values with experience. Yeah, you see the connection between value and experience goes through beliefs. Yeah, yeah. And how they connect? The beliefs connect values with experiences through statements. If you remember what those statements are, what kind of structure those statements have, what kind of two particular structural elements those statements have, those ones, beliefs. Do you remember? If you remember, could you please type? I am asking you if you recall two particular structural elements which beliefs have in their structure. I'll give you 30 seconds. And if you don't remember, the guys, no worries. You could say don't remember, no problem. I mean, that's what we are here for, yeah? Cause effect, perfect, Jen. Okay, that's a one. One of the elements of the structure is cause effect, yeah? And second one, do you remember? This is C kind of E, cause effect. And second, meaning. Okay, so we call it complex equivalence. Yeah? So one will is the cause of something else, or one will lead to other things, or one means other thing. So as a result, cause effect or meaning, complex equivalence, the type of connections. Yeah? Okay, so don't worry guys if you do not remember it now, because we will be practicing and you will see I will demonstrate again and again the same thing, so it will sink into your mind eventually, no worries. Okay, so first of all, let me remove or clear all drawings because I created some kind of mess here. So briefly, expectations. What expectations are? Expectations, they provide the motivation for maintaining a particular generalization or particular belief. Expectations relate to the consequences that we anticipate, and if we hold some particular belief, the particular consequences, belief or generalization, they produce some kind of awareness of, or is it useful to hold the belief or not? They kind of determine usefulness. Yeah? Because if consequences are negative, we know that belief probably need to be updated. So we call those beliefs, often we call them negative beliefs or limiting beliefs. If expectations of holding that belief is quite negative, the consequences are not pleasant. And at the same time, we could construct new beliefs with our clients if we define first what kind of expectations they would like to have. When we define expectations, we could say, well, you see that what you would like to have. All right, so what do you think, what kind of belief would be nice or great for you to have? And that's how we could create a new, at least new statement or new belief, and then we could move our client towards new belief, which has a brighter or more positive expectations or consequences. All right, and the last one, states. Well, states, it's a tricky part. It's really powerful, and internal states, they act as both. I think they act as a filters of our experience. Yes, so as a result, our experience filtered through certain particular state. If you are in a resourceful state, if you feel great, if you are optimistic, then kind of experience could be even the same thing. You know, you go to the cinema and you have a certain particular experience. If the state is, I don't know, you are devastated, you are tired, and go into the same cinema to the same maybe movie, it's going to have a totally different outcome. Well, why? The state works as a filter. And we need to remember that all the time. For example, you as a coach, when you're about to work with the client, yeah, managing your state and be in the correct state, actually, even to know what state you need to be when you are working with the clients, it's extremely important. I designed the whole module in the Headway Coaching Business School, Coaching Growth Direction, when we are talking about kinesthetic awareness, when you are coaching someone, and state management. So what kind of state you're supposed to be when you are working with someone? It's not just, well, I need to be okay. No, well, we need to define it, because there are certain particular criteria. If you are professional, you're supposed to be able to define it. You're supposed to be able to anchor it and bring yourself to into that state every time when you need it. So, for example, before coaching session, you're supposed to have certain particular routine or procedure, how you create your resourceful state for coaching. Yeah, you're acting as a coach. State of high awareness, state of calm, state of, yeah, there are lots of criteria which I personally defined my state. Yeah, it's I don't know if you've done that particular part or not, but I'm just bringing your awareness to that. And our state working as a filter, and at the same time, you know, they are kind of driving our actions. Our internal states often work as almost like a container or foundation supporting particular belief or particular generalization. The state, they determine the emotional energy invested into sustaining certain belief. Yeah. So the state works like almost like some kind of container, yeah, here, and filled with the energy. Yeah? So that's what states really bringing into the. As a result, that container works as a filter. It's filtering our experience. Guys, does it make sense? What the picture? I gave you a little bit of words and description. What that picture really mean? What does it mean, that meta structure around beliefs? As you can see, there is a raw material experience. There are higher abstract values. There are states, almost like the number of parameters, physiological. By the way, we will be talking about today what kind of criteria you could have, or what kind of inventory you could do in order to define states. There are 3 methods how we could really go into the exploration of certain particular states of your client. And As a result, states, again, beliefs are somehow working as a connector between states and expectations or future, yeah, or consequences. So that's how metastructure of beliefs, where beliefs are and looks like. Yeah. Any questions so far, guys? If you have any questions, please ask. If not, let me clear drawings. And let's go for some real work together. Guys, if you don't have questions, could you please type no or clear, or at least everything what I, like a tiny small theoretical part, at least makes sense to you? Clear, 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 perfect. Svetlana, Jen, all right, all right. Okay, thank you. So let's go for some kind of real demonstration, because that's the way how we could, I think, learn the best. So I would invite someone, some of you, to be my client, because I cannot ask so far you to demonstrate. So I will try to demonstrate again in a very schematic kind of way, because as you can know, as you know, real coaching situation require longer time, but at least I will try to make it work, at least to try to demonstrate how we can use this particular structure in a real coaching situation. Yeah. So I would like someone volunteer to come up with, I would say, preferably with some real issue. I mean, or maybe you do remember some kind of belief or something which you've been struggling or would like right now to discuss. It doesn't matter. Maybe you discuss it already with your coach. Maybe you already went through particular, like a sequence of sessions, but we could still work on it again. So I know that lots of you already coached kind of by like on a permanent basis, so maybe you don't have any particular issues, but please think. And if you think about something, you're welcome to unmute your, or let me know who wants to be a volunteer. I have something, baby. Okay, perfect. So let me unmute your microphone and see how our system, audio system, is gonna work.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you very well. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
So I'll let you go on ahead and go.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, thank you very much for being a volunteer. And time to time, I think it's not a 100% real kind of type of coaching situation, because I will be, time to time, I will be kind of making pause and maybe kind of comment something or discuss something. So it will be a little bit kind of educational type of session. And yeah, please feel free to share what you believe is kind of totally shareable. I mean, there is no need to, you know, to go for some super confidential things. So yeah, we try to make it kind of easy and without too much going into the super details. Yeah, because it's still kind of recording. Okay,
no, I get that. That's fine. I understand.
Perfect.
First, I apologize. I have a kind of a froggy voice, and I may be coughing from time to time because I've been sick with something, and I've been trying to get over it. So apologize for that if I cough from time to time.
All right.
So I've had a struggle, and this has been going on for about 6 years now, because I lost my job with the space program. I still have one foot firmly planted in that industry through nonprofit work, because I really believe in it. My issue is that I have such a strong belief in human spaceflight, and also, but it's hard to pull away from it. And so it takes my focus away from coaching to a certain degree. The belief is strong because I love human spaceflight so much, but I realize that I need to focus on coaching. So this is very, very difficult to do. And, you know, I talked with my trainer initially, and he got me to say that I have to turn away from it, but yet I really can't. It's a very, very difficult thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can still, work in that world as a volunteer, but it's very, very difficult to find work in that environment.
Mm-hmm.
So because it's so limited at this point. And
Mm-hmm.
it's very, very difficult to get started as a coach too, because the people in that environment, they just don't get it. They don't get what coaching is about. They're starting to, and they're starting to warm up to it. But it's very, very difficult for them to see how awareness can be built in, with a coaching experience. And I've got a few of them to see it, but I can't get the rest of them to see it. So I'm trying to build that. It's really hard.
Yeah. All right, guys. Please, let's make a tiny small pause here, guys.
Okay.
First of all, thank you very much, because it was a very, very deep kind of intro into the issue. And guys, could you please type, have you heard any particular belief statement, yeah, which you would like to, maybe not to jump immediately to work with, but at least you would be interested to explore. So I would like you to type at least, maybe not the whole beliefs the way you heard it, but maybe some words, maybe some sequence of words, because several times. I'm sorry, if I will call you Bebe, is it correct? Is it?
It's BB. It's
Bibi, I'm sorry.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
okay, I was not sure. Okay, the Bibi just formulated the issue and formulated in a very thorough, clear way.
I like what Jan said, stuck. The belief is basically the inability to move from one area of experience to another and completely disconnect from one profession to another. It's not necessarily being stuck. It's still being connected to one while moving to coaching completely. That's the problem.
Okay. Yeah, the words, yeah, thank you for clarification, Bibi. First of all, Jen, I would like, guys, please pay attention. Erica, thank you very much, because you spotted some words which my ears also were kind of very much aware of that. It's hard, it's hard, it's hard. Those are words, guys, please pay attention. You don't need to substitute words which your client expressed with your own words. Even though you think it's the same thing, if maybe you are generalizing and making your conclusions, but I would really recommend you to use precisely the words which your client uses, because tiny small shift of the word or substitution could lead to totally different associations. In our client's mind, it's hard. Those are key words. I heard it several times, at least. Maybe it was very clearly stated that it's hard. So the belief is that it's hard to disconnect, and it's hard to stop completely and disconnect from one type of activities or profession and move to another one. Yeah, so that's what more or less the statement where the issue is. Of course, I mean, again, guys, we are not jumping right now into the solution zone. We are not going to be providing immediately what can be done, because I know that your mind could immediately tell you that, okay, guys, who said we need to disconnect?
Exactly.
Maybe it's possible to to have a smooth transition. Maybe there are ways how to kind of introduce coaching in that particular environment, which Bibi, you already mentioned also that those people maybe are not familiar with concept yet. Again, so but right now I would immediately tell you guys, we are not moving our client in the direction of resolution at all. Please be very patient. First of all, you need to explore where the client is without any attempt for the solution. Don't even think moving into the solution, okay? So that's what I would recommend, to stay with your client as long as possible and explore things around that problematic zone, because I'm sure we could find lots of interesting things there. Maybe some other beliefs are connected, with her initial belief. The belief, it's hard to disconnect, and it's hard to move from one activity to another, especially the BBC loves and really loves that human space travel kind of activity and profession. Yeah. Okay, so my question. Let's go for the questions. My question would be, what is the main reason that you would like to disconnect and you would like to move into coaching?
Well, the main reason that I like coaching is because I enjoy working with people more than anything else, because that's what I pretty much did while I was in the aerospace, profession. There's really no difference in what I did in that environment than what I do with coaching. When working in that professional environment, I worked with astronauts and helped them, get to a better awareness of what was happening with their bodies in the human spaceflight environment. When I was in different engineering divisions, one of the things that I mainly did when I worked with these people was I would ask them first the question, well, what do you want to do next?
Yeah.
Or, why do you want to do this? Or
coaching practically.
And let them come to their solution.
Yeah, exactly. Practically, you practically were in a coaching kind of space already, in a way. Yeah.
I really was, and that was one of the things that made me thrive in that environment. So when I got laid off, and I'm a really rather complex person, because on the side I was teaching children how to sing. And so I merged voice instruction with coaching.
Yeah.
And I, became a vocal coach. And then I moved on and I got training for life coaching. And then I went into leadership coaching, and I realized, oh, I've been here before.
Yeah.
So, it was just kind of a path of discovery, finding that. And it was when I was in the training that the trainer said, there's nothing left for you in aerospace. Why don't you just move on into life coaching? And that was when the idea of disconnection came into my mind. And so I've been kind of struggling with it. That's what brought the idea into my head. Yeah.
It sounds to me that you are talking about disconnection, but what you just demonstrated really is that how those things are really connected. I mean, what you just said is that you enjoyed working with astronauts, and what you actually did there is practically lots of coaching elements already were in place, and right now your task is, or your purpose, or at least intention, is to have that coaching, the same thing which you enjoyed there, continue, but out of human travel kind of space profession, but still enjoying that particular part. Is it correct?
That is correct in some points, but I'm kind of looking at trying to complete that loop and have, if I can take the picture in my mind, how a space flight occurs between the Earth and the moon. It kind of loops around and then it comes back the other way. I think it's going to kind of loop back and come back the other way, and I'm going to end up back there. That's what I think.
Yeah, it could be. Who knows? I mean, as soon as we are open to all opportunities. And tell me, please, when you say hard, like when we are talking about disconnection, could you please tell me what is the cause of that?
I think what makes it hard is the fact that I still have a connection to the people back there, and I still see them from time to time. And when we're in like a social setting, like a dinner or whatever, they're still working and I'm not.
Yeah.
So that's where the disconnect is. I think that's what I see that, and it's like, oh, I'd really like to still be there, and I'm
Yes.
not.
Yeah.
And they can't really help me because of the constructs that are in place. There's all this gatekeeping infrastructure that's in the way. There's web job sites and recruiters and all this garbage that's in the way that keeps you from getting back in. And the people that used to be the guard keepers that I used to know that could have gotten me back in are no longer there. There's millennials that are running the HR department who don't even know who I am. I mean, it's a completely different construct that exists now. So and this is another thing that's kind of strange. And the other thing that makes it hard or that sticks people is that I'm living an hour away from the area where I used to live. And this is kind of a funky mindset, the way NASA and the community works, whether you're in Florida or California or Houston or wherever you are. When people apply, they look at the zip codes. If you don't live inside that zip code, you're considered an outsider. It's weird. Even though they can see in your job history that you have a long job history working inside the environment, they consider you outside. And that's part of their belief system. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen, but it's something I've discovered. And that's another thing that makes it hard, because I'm an analyst by nature, and I've analyzed all of these, situations. And I finally realized, oh, I'm an outsider to them. Wow. That is just a huge reality, of understanding that I have, discovered.
All right. So 2 points, Bibi. You just mentioned 2 points. If I make some kind of quick summary. So first of all, because you are still connected with those people, and you have that memory of enjoyment, and you like that all that environment and everything connected with that. That's one of the points why it makes it hard to disconnect. And second thing is also quite phenomena of being an outsider. It's also very, because of the zip code or area which you live now, somehow it makes it really tough, and hard.
It separates me from the environment. So
okay.
It's weird.
That totally understand. And when it comes to that hard part of disconnection, so let me ask you a question. If that disconnection will take place, so if as a result you will be able to move forward, it doesn't mean that you will not get back. So, but if you still find the way to be free to move into the new area and new profession and get results there, what would it mean to you?
Well, what it would mean to me is to accept those two hard constructs as for what they are, and understand that, and just kind of leave that behind, accept it for what it is, and move beyond that belief, so that I can accept it and be able to look forward to what is waiting for me, whatever that is. And start to make new connections in other areas, which I'm quite capable of doing. And but I appreciate being able to sort that out in my head, because as coaches, which I think all of us are here, we understand that helping a client understand what their limiting beliefs are, what's causing them to be stationary in a position, helps them to set a goal to move beyond what's keeping them in that one stationary position, whether it's in their mind or whatever it is that's causing them to feel the way they are. So I'd have to, I really need to think about possibly going to network events that are in this area, in this zip code,
Yeah,
with
yeah,
other professionals, and doing more of that instead of traveling back to that, location, and being in an area that makes me feel uncomfortable,
yeah,
and looking for contacts and clients that exist inside my zip code where I'm not an outsider.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
the solution set that I need to look at.
So you are not an outsider. That's one of the expectations which you could associate with the moving forward.
Right.
And you're not outsider, so you'll be accepted. You're able to move forward towards the future developments, whatever they are, as I understood you correctly. So as a result, you just precisely, nicely described for us what kind of expectations you will have as soon as you are able to move forward. And one of the words which I heard is that accept that that's hard to disconnect with part of your life which you actually enjoyed.
Yeah, accept that limitation, because
Yeah,
it's something that, it is what it is. Okay.
yeah,
There's nothing you
yeah.
can do to change it.
All
So
right.
there's a few things you can do with that. You can either accept it as it is. You can have a pity party about it, and you can be sad about it. But what good is that going to do? It's not going to do anything.
Yeah,
Except
yeah,
keep it there.
yeah. Maybe tell me, please, what kind of state you would associate with that future, with that expectations which you just described for us when you are able to move forward?
I would think that's a state of positive movement.
Positive movement, okay.
Yeah.
State of positive movement. Tell me, please, right now, if you would define the state, give some kind of description, how would you describe the state which you are in at the moment? Kind of in the middle of that hard thing, yeah?
Ambivalence.
Ambivalence, okay. Okay, so that's where we are now. All right. So those are two states. And guys, now let's make a tiny small pause. Let's analyze what we've done so far. Guys, could you please tell me, could you please type, so far I asked number of questions. And I tried to give you a little bit of hint by drawing in our board where was I and what kind of questions I was asking. Actually, if you could tell me, please, what exactly I've done so far, because I asked maybe a number of questions, and if you remember, one of the questions was, what is the cause of that situation that it's hard to disconnect? I also asked a question, what would it mean? Yeah, if she will be able to move forward, what would it mean? So as a result, we moved into the different direction of exploring those two parts of the, if you remember, limiting beliefs or limiting, we call it beliefs, which right now felt like something which is um, uh, stopping us from moving forward. That's why we call it limiting. So those beliefs somehow have a structure, yeah? And we already discussed it, that there is a cause effect and meaning. There are two parts. In order to elicit cause effect, we need to ask our client, what do you think is the cause of that? So because we've been working with a limiting belief related to it's hard to disconnect, or it's hard like to move forward when you know moving from part of your life and profession which you enjoyed in many ways, and now you're supposed to move forward. So that's particular transition, and I ask question, what is the cause? Yeah, and we received very clear answer, actually two parts of the answer. And then I ask a question about future pacing. Yeah, so I ask a question, what would it mean? Yeah, if you are able to move forward. And then we moved into the expectations, and also let me see, Jen, explore main reasons for cause, exactly, expectations, perfect. And also, guys, I asked several questions related to states. As you know, the states working as a container. You know, in order to hold certain particular belief, usually our clients, they embodied certain particular state. It's a number of parameters deeply kinesthetically associated with that belief. So the belief is hard and was defined ambivalence. Yeah, is it? I think it is. Yeah. So that's a part, and the future state which BB would like to move forward, that was positive movement. At least that's a definition kind of created by our client. So of course, if you would like to know more, we need to explore what does it really mean, you know, positive movement. But anyway, for her, it means certain things. It has certain associations. So we need to take it on board and use positive movements. That's a description of the future state. So that state, as a coaches, we will be working, moving our client from this state to this state. Yeah, positive movement. So there are, you see, guys, I'm working and I'm right now kind of discussing with my client in a very simple conversational manner, but I am moving and using the elements which right now in front of you. I'm using elements of belief metastructure. First of all, we defined the belief itself. Yeah? Of course, I could explore and search for other limiting beliefs or whatever, but I decided right now we don't have time for that. We are going for educational kind of type of small coaching demonstration. Yeah. So far I used 3 particular elements of the belief metastructure. Do you have any questions, guys? Is it more or less clear how you can use that picture which you have in front of you, the belief metastructure, in a real coaching situation? Yeah? If any questions, could you please ask? If not, I will continue.
Jen has a comment.
Okay, let me see. So far, I see that explore main reason for cause, what expectations. That's Jen was just answering my question. So, any other questions, guys? I don't see any questions. Okay, in this case, let's move on. Maybe let me ask you a few more questions in relation to our that transition which you would like to make. You mentioned, when I asked you what did you enjoy in your previous work in the NASA, what kind of things you enjoyed, and you mentioned that kind of human interaction, working with the astronauts and actually asking them certain questions and doing some coaching related work. Is it correct?
Well, yeah, and it wasn't just astronauts; it was engineers and you know, just basically, it's the high quality of mental interaction that
Yes.
I enjoyed with the caliber of people that worked out there.
Yeah.
We entered into conversations that were just different, and I worked in many different environments, from human spaceflight to safety. You know, just there were so many different areas I worked in. It blows my mind how many different areas I worked in.
Yeah.
A lot of expert knowledge was acquired during that time, and it was done through hands-on experience and mind-to-mind transfer through asking questions and receiving information from so many people. It was, and that still goes on. You know, that still goes on even today, because of the work I do with the American Institute of Astronautics and Aeronautics, which is a nonprofit and organization that I still work with.
Yeah.
And so I still continue to enjoy that energy transfer of knowledge.
So, guys, let's make a tiny small pause again. I'm sorry, baby, I'm making a lot of pauses,
No,
but
that's okay. That's fine.
I want people to analyze what you just said, because you said a lot, and guys, tell me please what you are able to hear in terms of BB's values. What kind of words you spotted as a maybe not direct value, but hint that there are values are hiding there. Could you please type all words which right now you are able to hear? I give you 1 minute.
While they're doing that, I'm going to take a quick break, okay?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be right back.
Energy transfer, perfect, Alexandra. Yes, knowledge, exactly. Yeah. And anybody else able to hear anything? Enjoyed work, okay, good. More? Light energy, okay. Great, guys. Pretty much what I heard as well. I heard, at least my ears were about knowledge, about energy, and about enjoyment and high quality. So of people, yeah. There are words related to quality of experience, related to knowledge, related to energy. So those are major points which I would be exploring. I would be exploring values related to energy, knowledge, and intellectual interactions. Yeah, exactly, or quality interactions, intellectual interactions. So as a result, that quality people, intellectual interactions, knowledge transfer, and energy transfer. And as a result, those are kind of values, it seems, so far we were able to hear. Yeah? So if I would ask direct questions, what do you think if we analyze the work which you've done with NASA, and what kind of values directly that particular work was honoring? So you felt like those values, your personal values, yeah, pretty much satisfied.
Are you asking me that question right now?
Yes, yes, exactly.
Okay, so I know what my core values are. In fact, after I left, this was before I got my coach training, I was actually asked by Rich Phillips of Phillips and Company if I knew what my core values were, and truthfully, I didn't have an answer for him at the time, which it stumped me. And he said, "Oh, that's rather a daunting question to answer." He said, "You might want to think about that for a few days." And I did. I went off and thought about it. And I came back with an answer later. My core values, one of them is discernment, and the other one is integrity, responsibility, compassion, and civility. And I find that these are, and integrity is one, if I didn't say it already. These are important in working with the kind of people that I work with anywhere. Doesn't matter whether they're in the space program, or whether they're at my church, or whether I'm with a client, or anywhere day to day. Because if I am without these core values, it impacts my energy, what I transfer to another person, my knowledge, my enjoyment, and all my intellectual interactions, or the essence of who I am.
Yeah.
Because of the kind of work I do on a day-to-day basis, I hold myself to a certain point in how I conduct myself when I'm working with people online that I don't even know who you are. But what I say and what I do matters. And the questions I ask, what I put on social media matters.
Yeah.
So, and that's why civility matters, because
Yeah.
words cut, words hurt. So you have to be careful what you put out there.
Yeah.
I am shocked at what I see sometimes when people don't realize the impact with what their words can have on other people.
Yeah.
So, so the, you know, there are people.
I'm sorry, it seems like I lost connection or something. I don't really hear anymore. Bibi, are you with us? Or maybe I was disconnected. Hello, hello. Guys, can you hear anything? Because I stopped hearing Bibi for some reason. Guys, could you please type if you can hear me? Could you please confirm? Okay, Alexander, you still can hear me because I lost Bibi for whatever reason. Okay, in this case, I hope she will get back. I don't know what happened. But what can I say? First of all, it's when we are working with the coaches, it's easy work because you ask questions and then the coach, professional coach, will drive themselves without any questions from your side. But normally, if you would ask a real client who is not from the coaching world, and if you ask about values or whatever, maybe they don't even understand you, what exactly you're talking about, what kind of values. So as a result, if you're working not with a coach and if you explore a little bit and you see that person kind of have no idea about values, okay, yeah, all right, so I see some people are leaving because it's time. I will finish practically in a few minutes. So if the client is not familiar with the value concept, it's totally okay because you already sported those words, energy, knowledge. I mean, you could just go without any specific labels and explore those values because you know that. But if person is kind of aware what values are, you could ask direct question. For example, I asked Bibi direct question, and she explained exactly what values are. Why, guys? Why I was aiming for values? First of all, that's a part of our metastructure of the beliefs, yeah. And second is that if you are able as a coach connect values which were honored here when in a limiting belief, and you will demonstrate to your client that there is a way to honor the same values in a different state and destination point, then there is a high probability that person can move forward easily. So for example, in case of Bibi, she already said by herself, she said, what I realized is that no matter where I'm working, I mean, that value of integrity and other values, I have it pretty much every time when I have an interaction with a human being. So as a result, it's for us, it's easy job as a coach because in the future state, when she is not in that profession, she already moved into the coaching, she is honoring the same values. So there will be no damage. As a result, she could move forward kind of easier because she knows that her values will be honored in the future activity. Because it's really important to demonstrate that the values, the essence of what she does is the same. She's not losing anything because people are usually very sensitive when the values are not satisfied. Guys, does it make sense what what we've done so far? Why I've been talking about values and so on, so on. If it's clear, could you please type yes? Okay. So yeah, at least you already see what kind of coaching session you could easily have. And it will be very natural, simple conversation with your client. But at the same time, underneath of your coaching session, there is a structure. You don't need to tell your client about that, but in your mind eye, you see this picture, you see that where beliefs are. You see how they relate to expectations. You see how they relate to states, to values, and also you could talk about experiences. Today I was not able to, but I will explain later how you could add actually experiences, because you need to also spend some time with your client exploring experiences. BB was a little bit, yeah, she's very kind of well articulated coach, and as a result, we spent a little bit more time because she gave us very detailed kind of answers. So I was not able to do it in 20 minutes or so, but it's totally fine. I hope it at least makes sense how you could use this structure to conduct a real coaching session and have it, based on the underlying structure of metastructure of beliefs. All right. If you have no questions, guys, could you please confirm that no questions and everything is clear? And if it's okay, then thank you very much for your time. And please pay attention to our announcements. And there will be webinar related to on Monday. Please pay attention. Headway Lab Business Direction. Yeah, there will be webinar on Monday. So, and see you next week. Thanks a lot, guys. Jen, Erica, Alexandra, and everyone already left. So, yeah, see you next week then. Bye-bye, guys. Bye.